Hey, fellow truth seekers, thanks for tuning back in. I want to share with you a revelation I had last night about the Seattle Seahawks. I've already done a couple posts on them, but the story and the plot thickens. Last night I was with one of my good buddies who's a Seattle Seahawks fan. I live up in the Seattle area, so there's a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans around. And he was telling me that he's agreeing a lot with the research I'm doing, but he thinks I am wrong about it in sports. He doesn't think this 33 applies to sports. He thinks it's all a coincidence. Well, that's what he thought last night when we started hanging out. But then he wanted to watch a Seahawks documentary with me because this guy is a huge Seahawks fan and it is football season. So I sat down and started to watch it with him. And within about 5 minutes into the documentary, his mind started to change. And by the end, he was saying him and I should be going down to Vegas to do some sports betting. So here, let's get into what we found and how his eyes opened up, which makes me think more people's eyes can open up. So we were watching the documentary. And what you should know about the Seattle Seahawks is their current coach is Pete Carroll, but before that they had Jim Mora Jr., the son of Jim Mora, an NFL coach and football player. The name Junior in gematria sums to 33, but that's not really what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is Jim Mora Jr.'s coaching record. He was a head coach for the Atlanta Falcons and the Seattle Seahawks, both teams with 33 connections because Atlanta's on the 33rd parallel north and Seattle is the only team in the NFL with a gematria of 33. But anyways, Jim Morris Jr.'s record when he finished with the Seahawks was 31 wins, 33 losses. When Pete Carroll took over the Seahawks, his career record in the NFL was 33 wins and 31 losses. His record had been that for a long time because he earned that with the Patriots and the Jets before going to college and coaching USC, where he gained a lot of fame for his success there. What's interesting about 31 through 33 is those are the degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. When Pete Carroll took over Jim Mora's job, he brought the phrase fired up. Seattle fans will remember this. Fired up, fired up, fired up. The whole first season was all about fired up. Well, in gematria, the word fired sums to 33. Does fired up mean 33 up? Before we get further on this, let's go back to this. This highlight right here is from the season that the Seattle Seahawks first went to the playoffs with Pete Carroll, where they had a 7-9 record, and the NFL was having all these headlines about should teams with a losing record even be able to be in the playoffs? Should they be able to have home field advantage? Well, this is almost the final play of that game. If you've never seen this play before, this is considered, I think ESPN, I believe this is correct, gave this the award for best sports play of the entire year, all sports. Still today, it's talked about as one of the greatest plays in NFL and sports history. I think it was voted the best run in NFL history. Well, as we were watching this documentary last night, before it came up in the documentary, I looked over at him and I laughed and I said, what if the Beastquake run started at the 33-yard line? I was not even sure as we were starting to watch this last night. Well, when we got to it and after we watched it, we heard the announcer go, 67-yard touchdown. Well, 100 minus 67 is equal to 33. If you look up the official stats, if you even just look here at the screen, they're right at the 33-yard line. This run, considered one of the greatest runs ever, started at the 33-yard line. Let's watch it. Touchdown! Okay, I have to admit, you guys, even when that happened, I'm not even a Seahawks fan. I thought that was a great and exciting play, and everybody up here was buzzing about it. They're still buzzing about it because, I mean, really, if it wasn't rigged, it would have been a great play. But now I'm telling you guys, this thing was rigged because almost everything in sports is rigged, so it's no surprise. 33-yard line for the only team with the 33 name. Whoops. All right, so we had the Beastquake. If you didn't know, that run supposedly set off the seismograph. Supposedly the fans were so loud on that play it caused a miniature earthquake. That's the legend of the run. The word beast in gematria sums to 47, a number that's often paired with 33. They call Marshawn Lynch the beast. On the flip side, the word beauty equals 74 in gematria, the inverse of 47. So there's the math for the gematria Seahawks. The only other team in the history of the NFL to have a 33 name is the Houston Oilers, which no longer exist. Seahawks fans might think of Warren Moon, though, who played for the Oilers and now works for the Seahawks. And then the Seahawks, after this, would become the first team to win a Super Bowl played on the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd, which happened this past February 2nd, 2014. It was also the first Super Bowl hosted by two states, the 3rd and the 11th, New Jersey and New York. What is 3 times 11? 33. With regard to this Super Bowl, it was foretold 10 years earlier in a 2004 episode of The Simpsons. In that game, Homer loses all of his money betting on the Seahawks. He bet wrong. Denver wins the score 19-14 in that cartoon episode. 19 plus 14 sums to 33. But what's also curious about that number is how the Seahawks won the Super Bowl in 14, the score they get in that Simpson episode. The gematria of Simpson is just like Seahawks, sums to 33. Simpsons is on Fox, where most of the NFL games are on. Beyond that, the Denver Broncos, who the Seattle Seahawks beat in this most recent Super Bowl, were also in Super Bowl 33, which was played January 31st, 1999. The numerology of Super Bowl 33, that date was 33, something that has only happened that time for Super Bowl 33. In that one, Denver beat Atlanta. Atlanta's located on the 33rd parallel north. Other teams that are on the 33rd parallel are the Phoenix, Arizona Cardinals, where this year's Super Bowl will be hosted, Super Bowl 49 in Glendale, Arizona. The gematria of Glendale also happens to be 33. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it, you guys. A conspiracy of 33. This is one of many examples. With regards to that Super Bowl 33, in that same month, on January 13th, 1999, Michael Jordan unexpectedly retired after signing a $33 million contract, record-setting at the time. The name Michael Jordan in gematria sums to 113, just like the date January 13th that he unexpectedly retired on, that sums to 33. The name Kobe Bryant also sums to 113, and Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are the only two players to ever three-peat in the history of the NBA. And then just think about that, the unexpected retirement on the date that matches his name gematria. So that's about the extent of it, people. If you have any questions, please ask down in the comments. The mathematics and other related posts are also linked.